Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we return to talking about not only Stranger Things, the wildly popular Netflix series, but also we're going to talk about how social justice warriors at the Truth Anti-Smoking Company are coming after them. For those who don't know, Truth is the name of an anti-tobacco lobbying company who creates anti-smoking ads and PSAs, public service announcements, mostly trying to stop kids from smoking, but sometimes they dabble in other stuff too. And it's a noble cause, sure. Teen smoking is bad and no one is going to argue that kids should be doing that, but at the same time, the ways in which Truth goes about their anti-tobacco campaigns can be seen as highly questionable, to say the least. And at worst, they're a bunch of clout-chasing, wannabe popular naysayers that come off as if they're nagging parents trying to tell everyone what to do. There's also been doses of liberal politics and SJW influences seen within Truth's ads over the years. For example, when I first covered the company, it was in a video all the way back in 2017 called Truth PSA Says Big Tobacco is Racially Profiling Blacks. And I'm sure you can guess what I had to say about all that. Sucks to have to be the guy that defends big tobacco here. I wasn't exactly planning on going all thank you for smoking here today again either, but at the same time, if Truth is going to keep using SJW tactics to attack people who are mostly innocent, well, I'm going to have to bat down their bad ideas once again. Last time I went over how, of course, the tobacco companies are not racist and profiling blacks. They were just advertising to them in some of their areas because people there like to smoke, and they just happen to be black. That was a coincidence. Also, let's not pretend black people don't have free will or agency here. They choose to smoke on their own accord, and frankly, Truth is really overvaluing advertising if you actually think about it. If they actually think putting up a billboard in some area will magically make people pick up smoking out of nowhere, they're pretty crazy. No, it doesn't work that way. And this new controversy with them we're about to get into doesn't make a lick of sense either. But before we move on here though, and get to the story and article in more details, let's take a brief moment to hear from our loyal sponsors at Raid Shadow Legends. For those who don't know, Raid Shadow Legends is a brand new RPG strategy game that's really taken the world by storm. And the most important and cool part about this is it's totally free and it's available to play on your smartphones right now. Almost 10 million players have already downloaded Raid just in the past 3 months. So now's a great time to get in and join in on the fun. It has great graphics, strategic gameplay, huge boss fight, an amazing storyline, and over 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize. Just check out this clip of those champions and look at all those details. They look like they're pretty fun. And what I love most about this game is everyone can find something they love for themselves. There's lots of great options and gameplay strategies and styles. It's all up to you in this RPG fantasy called Raid Shadow Legends, which is undoubtedly my favorite game to play right now. You don't have to just take my word for it either. With almost 200,000 amazing reviews and positive ratings, Raid has almost a perfect score on the Play Store. So if you want to try Raid, go to the description below this video and click on my links, and you'll instantly get 50 free silver in-game currency to get you started. And also you get your own free epic champion. This is a great offer and a great opportunity to get started, so click the link below this video, and thanks for your time today. Hope you enjoy the new game. Great, now that that's out of the way, let's check out this article about the Stranger Things story. This time, Truth is directing their attention at the largest streaming platform in the world, and specifically, Truth is targeting one of their biggest shows, which has also become world famous. As I mentioned before, Stranger Things is the show in question today, and if you're familiar with the series, you probably already know why anti-smoking lobbies are coming after them. Stranger Things is a period show set in the early 1980s, and it's been made in a very realistic and accurate way, minus the science fiction pleasantries, of course, that are added in there. But overall, Stranger Things has stayed pretty true to the style, look, and feel of the 80s. And one element of that aesthetic is that lots of people were smoking more freely back then, and in more public places too. So, needless to say, Stranger Things has had a good amount of smoking on screen, and in my opinion, it's brought in a good amount of realism towards the show. Regardless of that though, Truth is coming after them for this, of course, because SJWs love attacking things that are popular and fun. It makes them feel important, and in this case, Truth claims that more smoking in TV shows will cause more kids to smoke. Not sure if they actually have any backup or proof for that. Sounds more like it's trying to be some sort of common sense assumption, which many might not think twice about, but I will, and I am. And that's why I'm going to be talking about it and batting it down this whole entire video. Netflix vows to curb on-screen smoking amid Stranger Things criticism. That doesn't sound too good. Let's read on anyway and see what else they have to say. Netflix says it will cut back back on depictions of smoking in its shows, in the wake of a report that called out the streamer for the number of instances in which characters use tobacco in shows like Stranger Things. Netflix strongly supports artistic expression. We also recognize that smoking is harmful and when portrayed positively on screen can adversely influence young people. Going forward, all new projects that we commission with ratings of TV 14 or below for series or PG-13 or below for films will be smoking and e-cigarette free, except for reasons of historical or factual accuracy, a Netflix spokesperson told The Hollywood Reporter. For new projects with higher ratings, there will be no smoking or e-cigarettes unless it's essential to the creative vision of the artist or because it's character defining, historically or culturally important. Right, well, sounds like Netflix is caving into the SJWs here hardcore. But they're also leaving themselves an out by saying no smoking unless it's historically or culturally important, because Stranger Things certainly falls into that category. Really, anytime there's smoking on screen, you can make an argument that it's justified for one reason or another, like this. And again, don't get me wrong here, guys. I'm not pro-smoking by any means. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, and I obviously don't want kids to smoke either. But if you are of age and it's legal to smoke in your area, then that is your God-given right to do it as well. Sure, it stinks and it could kill you, but so can a large other many things that are also legal. Eating poorly too much can kill you, or riding a motorcycle too dangerously. You know what I mean. Basically, we live in a free country and you have a right to do what you want. And since smoking is legal if you're over 18 or 21 in some states now, well, since it's legal, you're allowed to do it, and that's my point. So when I clap back at Truth here, well, it's mostly because of their SJW tactics. It's also because they're anti-freedom in many ways. Although they often claim to be targeting and trying to stop kids from smoking, really, they don't want anyone to be allowed to have cigarettes at all. And that's just plain wrong and un-American, if you ask me. The other thing I don't like here is this constant assumption that if kids see smoking on TV, they're going to go out and do it more. Sure, that's possible, and it probably does happen in some very small and rare cases, but at the same time, I'm not going to assume it's true without at least some evidence, some kind of study or report or poll or survey. I haven't seen anything yet, and Netflix here and Truth before them, they seem to be operating pretty heavily on this assumption too. That's unproven. I mean, Truth is lobbying for less smoking on screen, and Netflix is promising to do that. So it seems to me that both of these parties are saying they strongly believe that these kinds of actions will lessen underage smoking, but I'm not sure I think it will affect it at all. Really, all they're going to affect is the quality and realism of one of my favorite Netflix shows. The Truth Initiative, a nonprofit public health organization working to eliminate tobacco use, released a report last week that calculated the use of tobacco in 13 shows across broadcast, cable, and streaming services. The study found that for a second consecutive year, Netflix topped the list with nearly triple the number of tobacco instances, 866, compared to the prior year, 299. The study continued, smoking on the small screen has gone from common to nearly unavoidable, as popular programs like Stranger Things, Netflix's Orange is the New Black, and ABC's Modern Family increasingly show images of tobacco and portray characters who smoke. Well, I'm sorry guys, but people do smoke. It happens, and I know you hate it, but since TV shows often film people and depict them in the real world, smokers will eventually pop up, inevitably. And I say you should quit treating smokers like they're evil lepers anyway, and there's nothing wrong with them appearing on screen sometimes. I know you think smoking's evil and people who do it are demons, but that's just not the case. What's this company Truth's endgame anyway? No smokers on the screen at all? That sounds pretty racist to me. Wouldn't fly if we saw another company ask for, say, no minorities or gay people on the screen. So how come smokers have become this unprotected, allowed to be bullied minority anyway? I know lots of smokers in my life, and they've been perfectly great people, and I've met plenty of non-smokers who are absolutely terrible. And as I said before, I don't smoke myself, and I personally hate the smell even, but I'm also not going to hold it against any of my friends and family if they want to take a hit and smoke once in a while, because I'm not their mother, and I'm not some old whiny SJW hag who feels so entitled they think pushing their own sensibilities onto others is virtuous and charitable or something. Might as well team up with the vegans at this point, because vegans also love pushing their lifestyle on everyone else, like how non-smokers do, and they both do it in snooty, holier-than-thou ways which they think are justified by science, but really they're not. For both the 2015-16 and 2016-17 seasons, episodic programming on Netflix had a greater total number of tobacco depictions than programs aired on broadcast or cable TV, with Stranger Things continuing to show the most tobacco overall. The report continued. Researchers found that 100% of Stranger Things episodes coded included tobacco. In response, Netflix said it will start featuring information about tobacco use in the ratings boxes included with each show, so our members can make informed choices about what they watch. Other shows called out in the report included Amazon's The Marvelous Miss Maisel and Hulu's Gap Year, though those weren't included in the study. Classic SJW SJW propaganda tactics, if you ask me. First, they attack things that are popular. Then they try and invade those spaces afterwards, eventually taking over and then acting like they run the place and owned it this entire time. I say it's time for you to get a life, losers. Smoking sucks, sure, but you guys are way worse than that. The Truth Company exploits their good faith with the people too, and they try and hide behind the nobleness of their goal of stopping kids from smoking. If it weren't for that noble guise that they hide behind, Truth would appear what they actually are, which is an anti-tobacco lobby who really has non-virtuous intentions in all of this. They want to sneak in their liberal propaganda into everything, just like how every other media company out there run by SJWs does. And to make matters even worse here, they're basing their entire argument on unproven assumptions. Going through Netflix and counting the number of times smoking appears doesn't really prove anything, and it certainly doesn't prove what they think it does. Frankly, I think Netflix having more smoking in their shows, it makes them look cooler, and like they're letting their artists create the visions and worlds that they prefer, without thinking about being PC. And since many great works of art are based on real life, therefore, that means many movies and TV shows will feature real things from the real world. And in this case, it's smoking, an age-old generational habit that's been going on for thousands of years. But for some reason, Truth here wants to clutch their pearls and erase smoking from modern memory because they're whiny, controlling PC SJWs. In the end, to make matters even worse, Netflix is of course setting a bad precedent here. Not only are they caving in and adhering to Truth and their unproven philosophy, but also this will inevitably open them up to even more, possibly endless attacks coming from radical PC left-wing SJWs and advocates like this. First, they take away all the smoking in our Stranger Things, and then they make the cast of that race swap everyone who was white, making them all black or browns. And then the whole town has to go gay or trans on top of that. And now, in the end, we're watching a gender-fluid half-black Muslim woman who lives in 1980s Indiana for some reason, and she has to fight non-offensive neutral science fiction monsters who are made of rainbows. Because why not? But really, all kidding aside, there's a reason people like this, like these SJWs and the ones working at Truth, well, there's a reason they don't get to make amazing, entertaining, award-winning shows like Stranger Things. It's because they can't, and their ideas are terrible, and the PC left-wing suggestions they make are the worst ideas in the world. But don't take my word for it, just go ahead and read some modern Marvel comics if you don't believe me. Over there, they let the pink-hair angry feminists completely take over Marvel's comic book operation, and that's why Marvel comic books have been awful and been going downhill for years. And the same thing will happen with TV and movies too if we don't keep a lid on it, like what's going on with Stranger Things here. So I say our current hill to die on is we should stop and put our foot down and keep smoking in Stranger Things. What do you guys think? Does smoking appearing on screen automatically encourage kids to smoke? Because I think hiding it and keeping it away from them too much might actually make them want to do it more. Kids, and especially teens, they always love to do the taboo, unallowable things, from my experience. And that's why when, for example, cannabis was legalized, teen smoking of it actually went down in those states, as this article from the New York Post backs me up on. But tell me what you think and comment your thoughts on everything below. And thanks for watching No Bullshit. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.